Hello to everyone listening or watching the Late Stage Comedy Podcast. Every single day this month, we're going to be talking to a different performer who will be coming to Leicester Comedy Festival. And today we're chatting to the fantastic Lubna Kerr. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Lovely to be here.
Thanks. It's fantastic to have you. Are you looking forward to your show this year?
I'm really looking forward to. I have been to Leicester for a couple of years now, and I've found out that actually I know quite a few people there. So through like family related family. So I'm like, oh, this will be exciting. I might even have
Ooh.
an actor in me.
We'll get back to your show a little bit later. But first, I just wanted to chat to you a little bit about your comedy journey and what sort of got you into getting involved in the scene in the first place. So I think we'll just start there. What made you want to start comedy, or what made you want to get on stage for the first time?
I wanted to embarrass my children because I couldn't think of any other way to do that. And I thought if I go on stage, then they can't get to me. So if it's when I started 10 years ago, I started and I'm still doing it. And I think they thought it was a hobby.
That
And one of those hobbies that takes you to America and you gig in America and I'll be getting the award and they'll say, but mom, it's still a hobby, isn't it? Just to get back to the children, back at the children, I should say.
get revenge and all the stuff they've made you do. Have they ever seen you perform?
No, enough.
Oh, fair. I was curious to know what they thought of your novelty.
The very first time my daughter saw me perform, I used to do a character act called Would You Be Me when I first started. And she spent more time examining the dot on the floor than she did looking at the dot in my eye. And I think she's now thinks she's ticked that box, so she doesn't have to do it anymore. And the boys are good. I have two boys and a girl, and boys will occasionally, they used to occasionally come to see the show, but they live in different parts of the world. So wherever they live, I go and gig there. So it's great. Then they
That's
have
good.
to come and watch her. Have to drive me there.
It's a good excuse to gig in other countries.
Absolutely. But they think there's a niche for what I'm trying to do. So I think that's as best as I'm going to get from them.
Go on then. What are you trying to do with your comedy?
I'm trying to show that there's a space for everybody on stage. Doesn't matter what age you are, what
Mm.
color you are, what background you are, what sex you are, what religion you are, what culture you are. And so that anybody can do it. And also I want to show that Asian people can be funny because we get this rep of not being funny. Is that all we do is make curries? And I can't even make curries. So hopefully I can make jokes. I just want to show that actually Asian people, African people can be funny. And a woman, wow, a woman, an older woman of color. So I want more people to come into the arts in general because I think it's such a great place to be and there's so much you can do. So, yeah.
That's a great reason to get involved. Is there a sort of type of audience you're trying to put into your shows at all?
Well, I think I want to attract more people of color to come of any ethnic background because I think that sometimes are left out. Maybe the jokes don't appeal to them. And if I talk about my favorite things, which is what the show is called, and hopefully some of my favorite things might be some of their favorite things if we've had similar upbringings. We might have been brought up in different parts of the country, but I think our experiences will have been very similar. So I think it'll be something that they can relate to. And I think it's really important to show that there's space for everybody on stage.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic, to be fair. Did you have any comedy heroes before you got involved? Comedians that you particularly looked up to?
Yeah, very much. So my father loved comedy. Very often in a Saturday night, we could be seen watching the two Ronnies or Mark and Wise and Dave Allen. Dave Allen was a particular favourite because he was always slagging off the Catholic Church, which my father was like, liar, he was Muslim, so you can't do that. And then as an adult, I loved Thomas Walkley Conley, who wouldn't Walkley Conley. I loved the way he slowly started. And I like to think I like following his footsteps. I start in one story, I go to another story, and then I come back to the original story. And then also I loved Joan Rivers because she was so caustic. And she was just like, she would just say things. I'm thinking, she must be Pakistani because she had absolutely no filters on her. She was really funny. So yeah, they were a few of my heroes.
How they influenced how your comedy has progressed, if you like? Did you ever try and emulate them or try to take bits of what they did?
Yes, I very much. I think I like to mix storytelling. So Billy Collins, a great storyteller, and he would describe the characters that he'd meet and we'd play them out. And then he would take you on this meandering journey, but then he'd bring you back to where he started off and he wouldn't forget where he was. And so that's one of the things I like to do. And I think also I want to bring in a wee bit of Joan Rivers, not the totally, caustic side, but just slightly darker side. I think it's really important to show that can be funny. The dark side can be funny if you play it right. And I think she did.
Yeah. What I like to ask comedians is we all know that comedians always have to have a death. You can never be in comedy and have everything go well. So I want to ask you what your best death has been, and also what your best gig has been. So do you want to start on the positive side or the negative side?
Let's start on the negative side.
So what has been your best death on stage?
Yeah, so I'll tell this joke about Donny Osmond. It was a true story. All my stories or my jokes are based on true stories. And Donny Osmond, if you don't know, John, which is part of the problem, was a pop star of yesteryear, right? Although he's still going strong. And I loved Donny Osmond growing up. He was like my hero. He was like my best friend. He would take him everywhere with me. Me and Donny get married. All those things that you do as a young child. So I was telling this story on stage. And then what happened was I was going to be in a radio program with Donny Osmond. And it was like a couple of months ago, and I was like, I was so excited. So I'm going to be Donny Osmond. Oh, it's all 40 years later, I'm going to be. And I was like really getting excited about it and telling them the audience, and like, oh, you're like me. And then it turned out I didn't get to meet him because he remembered who I was, and the restricting order was still back in place now. So I never remembered.
So,
That was the joke part of it, right? Okay. And the audience are like, oh, what a shame. But they didn't laugh. They just sat and listened to the story. And I'm like, why?
oh,
And they didn't laugh because they had absolutely no idea who Donny Osmond was. And that was a death as well as a learning.
yeah.
Because when I looked around my audience, nobody was over 30. They were about 25. So they wouldn't have known. They were thinking, who is this Donny Osmond? Is he an AI person that she says and made up? So that was the worst death in the sense that you're telling the joke and you're in the joke and nobody's laughing and you can't stop because you've got to get to the end of the joke. And that was just pretty horrible.
So that was one of your best deaths. What about one of your favorite gigging experiences?
Actually, I have to say, I loved gigging in Austin, Texas. Austin is the capital of Texas. Texas has got like 60 million people. It's the size of the UK, right? Yeah. And I went to my son to this quite hipster place, and they just loved me. They absolutely loved me. I don't know if it's because they thought I thought being Scottish, but I told them I was Jennifer Lopez, Scottish husband. From another mother twice removed by the police. And yeah, that was my bit. I would say I've had a few that I've really enjoyed, but I really enjoyed when you go to a different country and you don't know if your humor is going to land. And when it does land, it's just brilliant. Because in the UK, you get to know what sort of audience you're going to have and what you can use and what Donny Osmond joke you can. Now, see, if I had done that Donny Osmond joke, it wouldn't be brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
We are going to move on to a little challenge, and this challenge is comedian versus AI. What we've done is you have selected a specialist subject, which is
Scottish football.
Scottish football. Do you know much about Scottish football?
I think I do, but maybe I don't.
So we've got 10 questions on Scottish football written by Chat GPT. And we're going to see in 60 seconds how many of these you can answer. If you get all 10, fantastic, you've won, well done. But if not, we shall keep score and see which comedian is more knowledgeable on their subject. The answer that I want is the answer that I've gotten here. It might not necessarily be the correct answer. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Your 60 seconds starts now. Which Scottish football club plays its home matches at Celtic Park?
It's Celtic. Play at Celtic.
Correct. What is the traditional nickname of the Scottish national football team? The Tartan Army.
Tartan Army, yes, that's right. Yes, I remember.
Which Scottish club did Sir Alex Ferguson manage before his successful career with Man U? Correct. What is the Old Firm derby in Scottish football, and which two teams are involved?
Glasgow Rangers.
Correct. Which stadium is considered the home of the Scottish national football team?
Park.
Correct. Who is the all-time leading goal scorer for Scottish national football team? All-time leading.
James Flowers?
Incorrect. Penny Dalglish.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Question 7. Which Scottish club won the European Cup Winners' Cup in the 82 to 83 season? You can answer this question. Correct. 5 correct. Which I think that's a pretty good result considering the level of those questions. You didn't have an easy ride like the last one did.
No, I should have known Tartan. That was a shame, but yeah.
So 5 out of 10, I think, is a respectable result. exactly half of them correct. Before we head off, we need to talk
Yeah.
about your show. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to give people the elevator pitch on why they should come see your show. Before we begin, do you want to let people know the name of your show?
The name of the show is called My Favorite Thing. And I think it's on quite late, 9:15. And it's above an Indian restaurant. So perfect, go for a meal and then come and see an Indian woman or Asian woman talk comedy.
Right.
Perfect.
You can check all the times and details on the Leicester Comedy Festival website, but you have 30 seconds now to sell your show to people. Your time starts.
My show is called My Favorite Thing. And I want to share with you what my favorite things are, but I also want to hear about what your favorite things are, because then I might want them to become my favorite things, because there's no way you can have favorite things that I can't have. Yeah, let's come and share our favorite things together.
You sold it with 10 seconds to spare. Before we finish, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm on all social media. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and they're all at Lubna Kerr.
Fantastic. You can also follow Late Stage Comedy on all platforms, and
Yeah.
also go to latestagecomedy.co.uk, where you can see all the shows we've got coming up at Leicester Comedy Festival, as well as all the shows that we have across the year. But thank you very much to Lubna. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Late Stage Comedy podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe across all of our platforms. And do head to latestagecomedy.co.uk to find out more information about our upcoming shows. And whilst you're at it, why not take a listen to another one of our great podcast episodes? Thank you very much for listening. I have been your host, John Morris, and I hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.